The black light who sat in the churches. Once again, I'm coming back with what I've learned in the church. In the church, you know, you got witches and wickers that was going to that church. I can't say all of them was like that, but one showed me his wicker minister card. You know, see, they was reading me wrong. Sometimes they wouldn't even notice that I was there, and I would hear him speak in meetings, and they really don't believe in the God that they say because they know that God that's in the Bible, they know that he was a black man. They know that. That's why they was trying to kill. They was trying to kill Jesus. A lot of people say, well, it wasn't no Jesus, you know. The character that they refer to in the New Testament is has a past, present, future tense to it. It was a prototype in those times named Isa, and it was one previously to him, you know, in Egypt. You know, it was a circle. You know, everything is a circle. Evolves. And then in the present, you got Elijah. So, right at the end of the Old Testament, Malachi 4:4, remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I command unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. And it don't say nothing about Jesus. That's the last testament. But in St. Matthew's, it says, the book and generations of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. I'm going to go on down to the begots. It says that Jesse begot David, the king, and David begot Solomon. Stop right there. Solomon said he was black. In the Songs of Solomon, he says he is a black man. He's black but calmly, right? I don't want to spend too much time. I read it once in one of my last videos. I read it, and I don't want to lose my thought. Here you go. Song of Solomon. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. Now, that's Song of Solomon's 1:5. Well, I'm going to y'all book. Your preachers don't teach y'all this. Only when Elijah started telling you, going into the Bible, breaking it down for you. These recent years, they've been painting pictures of Jesus being a black man. But before that, they thought Elijah was out of his mind. But the Caucasian knew this all the time. And in this church, you walk through this church right here, all you seen was blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesuses with blonde-haired, blue-eyed angels. That's why I drew that picture. You know, when I told you in my couple of videos back that I drew a picture of a black Jesus looking angry, because they misrepresenting Jesus, man. This whole book, you know, is full of trickery. They tried to trick you, but it's coded above their code. They tried to code it, but the way God works with mathematics, they can't do it. You just gotta understand God's the language of God. Once you understand the language of God, you can decode this book. But you gotta be divinely inspired by someone or something, you know? And more than likely it's someone that breathes on you with inspiration and guide you into the right revelations of the book, you know? And it's divinely coded, mathematically constructed, so you can do this. Like I say, Son of Man, he can do it, you know? And so did the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But according to those times, you know, and we still living in the times of the Old Testament, you know, and the New Testament, and the future testament, you know, the hereafter. So Revelations is talking about the hereafter. It goes all the way. It speaks of wars and terrible things happening, but it also has a happy ending, which they don't talk about because they're not going to partake of the happy ending. Their ending is not going to be so happy. So, you know, I'm comfortable. The only thing you got to do is, you know, when Mr. Farrakhan was giving those days of atonement, you just got to tune up to the vibration of the Most High, which is mathematics, you know. But you got to tune into yourself, attune to yourself, you know. And this has got to become a practice, a daily practice. I read about your heart rate being over in this stressful country. Don't get tied up into these elections because they're going to scare you to death. Your heart rate's going to shoot up. They're trying to scare you. And you're looking for them to save you from them. You got to save yourself from them. But you got to have the right frame of thought. And don't fall for all this trickery, man. Alice Jones want Donald Trump to win so they could be back on top. That little rappy hair with Minister Louis Farrakhan, You know, he think he convinced a whole lot of people. Because, you know, it was about Obama. I always knew that Obama was a puppet, man. It's like on the job training, man. When you get hired on a new job and they give you a guy to break you in, and he tell you how to work the job, and he tell you the do's and the don'ts on about the job. And he say, you know, he tell you about how the boss is. Don't do this, don't do that, but you can do this and do that. And then you start doing it his way, and then you might add a little bit of your way in there to make the job easier. Well, that's, you know, the Obama, that's what he did. You know, he knew that the system was full of snakes. If he didn't know, his mother was grooming him for that. She's a Caucasian. So he was like Master Farad in a sense. He was going to wake us up to the fact that the president office is not the ultimate end. He's supposed to be a servant of the people, not the leader of the people. Y'all supposed to dictate what y'all want to him. You know? He's your representation. So what you got now in Congress is a representation of how you really are in your hearts, black and white. You're immoral, because that's all this election is about, is immorality. You know, Donald Trump acting and talking crazy. Hillary, she done did some things. Can't none of it be proven, because it's all hearsay. But Hillary, she got to defend her position because it is some victims. There's no victim, there's no crime. And then they could have manufactured some victims for Trump, you know. But y'all not asking Trump and Hillary the number one question. Why did y'all get away from the Constitution? And none of y'all talking about getting on the gold standard, back on the gold standard. And it said that's why they killed Gaddafi. Gaddafi had really free health care. I mean, free housing. They had their own currency, gold. You know, and it was said that they killed Kennedy and Lincoln because they wanted to get back on American dollars and leave the Federal Reserve note alone. And anybody that wants to have their own currency, they don't like. You know, they can't control you if you got your own currency. Black man and black woman. You say you're a nation. You know, you're not gonna survive off of their dollar, because they're gonna crash the dollar and give you something that they can track your whole history on. You know, who you are. You know, monitor you all the time. They doing it now, but they're gonna make it so that it won't have to be undercover. It's just gonna be out in the open. Over in England, they had camera all over there, and it was back in time, a lady spit on the sidewalk, and the camera started talking back at her. Said, "We're gonna put you in fines." We're gonna continue this. We don't want to run out of time. This is Black Light, who sat in the church. Black Light out. Fade to black.